Hi, I'm Frank Williams, and welcome to SuccessToday.tv. And as always, I'm joined by my two very good friends, Tom Roman and Rich Goldberg. And Rich, you had last week off. I hope you enjoyed your day.
Immensely.
Good. Tom, we spoke about thinking. How is it and why is it that people think the way they do? Tonight, let's talk about ways in which our viewers can make that transition to becoming a more positive individual and helping them achieve their goals. So Tom, if you would, let's start with what tips can you give our viewers?
Well, that's a great point, Frank. And it's like, here's the thing. You wake up in the morning, your mind's a void. It's like a blank slate, a vacuum, if you will. There's nothing there that you're thinking about until you choose to think a certain way or you put something in your mind. So what happens to most people, again, just commenting on what we said last week, kind of summarizing, most people just, turn on the news or whatever someone tells them to think about, they think about. So the ideas of this show today is, hey, listen, if I'm not going to just put in arbitrary, random information that just flows in uselessly into my mind, what do I put in? And that was the goal of our show today, is to help people with the right stimuli. So when that vacuum is there, do we want to be in a creative flow? Of course, that's the goal of all of this, is to live our inspirations. But the idea is, what do we put in most of the time? You remember the saying, garbage in, garbage out. Absolutely true with the psychological and philosophical world as well. So the idea today is to talk about the stimuli that we put into our minds. What is going in, and what are the outcomes you're getting out of your body? So we're going to talk about maybe audiobooks today, about our environments, about our conversations, about the very things about which we speak and think most of the time. So we're going to get into that today. Rich, do you have any introductory comments?
Introductory, I immensely enjoyed last week, and thanks to these two guys, they gave me time off. It's good we're in a good union here, otherwise I was docked, but it's great to be back. Again, it's your worldview, it's your positivity. What kind of things do you dwell upon, if at all? Are you brooding about? Do you not let go? It's just philosophically how you perceive the world, how good you can make yourself, and how persistent you can be by employing tactics and techniques which will further develop along the way of how you can be your best self on a regular basis every single day.
Very good, guys. I'll give the first tip to our viewers. The first tip would be, if I could suggest one, would be to cut back the amount of time that you watch the news or if you read the newspaper, because unfortunately most of it is negative and depressing. Take an hour each night, go out and buy a motivational book, and start reading the motivational books and reading the extraordinary stories of how people have overcome adversity. And what you're going to find is, over a period of time, you're actually going to start thinking more positively. Stay away from the garbage, get into motivational books, and it'll make a big difference for you. Tom?
Yeah, and one of the things that I want to kind of dovetail off what Frank was just saying is because of a motivational book. Now, one of the challenges that I have in my life is that taking the time to read. Usually when I open a book before bed, like 10 minutes into it, lights are out. I just am so tired into the day. So one of the ways that I found that most, if you hear like motivational speakers talk about, is listening to audiobooks. And one of the things I developed in the book I wrote, Culture of Royalty, it was the idea of what I call conscious intellectual idle time. What that means is that your body is at work, but your mind is at rest. The whole concept is when you're driving, when you're in the gym, when you're gardening, whenever you're even mountain biking, you want to keep it at a lower decibel so you can hear horns and stuff like that as well. But the idea is when you're in a physical activity, you even washing dishes, but when you're in a physical activity, you listen to what outstanding motivational books. And I don't just mean motivational like rah-rah-rah books. I'm talking about biographies. I'm talking about how-to books, maybe language books, things that are going to help you accomplish your goals. And one of the things that someone said to me one time in a presentation, they said, well, doesn't it take away from the experience or take away from what it is that you're doing? And the actual thing I thought about at that time was, have you ever tried dancing without music? You can pretty much do it for a little while, but you're not going to see a nightclub full of people just dancing without music. It's just not going to happen. And that's how I see.
That was pretty good, by the way.
That was, yeah. All my practice
at
club dancing. But the idea is that if you try to dance without music, that's how I consider when I do these activities, like going to the gym or even washing my dishes. It changes it from, hey, I have to get this done, to doing it, excellently, but also really enjoying the process. So I've substituted in my mind, hey, listen, I'm going to the gym now for an hour, to thinking of it, I'm going to class for an hour. And I'm going to class to learn a certain thing or to reiterate a certain thing. Because the concept, again, like every morning our mind's a blank slate. And if we don't fill it with a good stimuli, our day, the outcome of that day, will be questionable depending on what we put in. So the idea is that when I go to the gym or I wash dishes, I do it very, very thoroughly, and it's funny, I wash them by hand. I have a dishwasher in my apartment. The idea is I wash them by hand. It's a beauty, do a great job on them, have the hot water, the gloves, and everything. But as I'm doing it, I'm listening to the audiobooks, listening to the words of, William Shakespeare or an Earl Nightingale or Brian Tracy or, Anthony Robbins or any of these great authors, speakers, leaders over time. So, and I can't emphasize the power that it has in your life. Because you go from, hey, listen, maybe I can get it done, maybe I can't, to, hey, these people have done it before, I'm going to do it too. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. Rich?
Again, organizationally, get rid of the clutter. Get rid of the flotsam and jetsam around your house. Have a clean area that you can have a workspace from and work in a neat, orderly way. Also with emails, how many of us wake up every day and you're looking at your 62 emails to start the day? Might not get you off to the greatest of momentum first thing in the morning when you're looking at the 62 emails. By the time you're done, it might be 9 o'clock or mid-morning already, and then you're getting new emails throughout the morning. So again, it's a matter of, as Tom alluded, time management. How do you want to spend those 24 hours in a given day? That was an excellent illustration and example by Thomas. Kudos to you.
Thank you, my brother.
That you're multitasking, you're setting priorities, you're doing it with positive stimuli, you're not focused on negatives all day, and it puts you in a great place for which you can continue the momentum of the day.
Very good, guys.
Very good.
Another tip would be also, if you're working on your goals or if you just want to become more positive and more successful, what we've done is we found a team. So I think our viewers, don't try to go it alone. Find a team. Find 3 or 4 people that have the
Like-minded people.
like-minded people that have the same passion as you do for success. Stay with that group. Meet once or twice a week. Be accountable to each other, and it will make a big difference, tremendous difference.
And Frank, I have to comment on that because you're so accurate, and I really appreciate your leadership and Rich's leadership in our development. I mean, it's uncanny how lucky we are. But everyone can have that same luck, if you will, if you go out and you search for it. They say that you attract your vibrational equal. We all were very excited about our careers, and we came together. And it was just like we synergized and went forward. And then we've had a lot of different going concerns going right now that are just powerful in our eyes. So we hope you enjoy them too. But the idea of a team, it's so important because the concept of what you talk about with your immediate social group is imperative. You have to really think about this. And it's no offense to people, but you really have to examine what you talk about and really do almost like not only a thought log, which is a great thing to do, like what you're thinking about. You'd be surprised what you think about on a regular basis, about it being reverse thinking rather than forward thinking. But do a speech log. Speak and listen to what's coming out of your mouth. Is it in the range of, hey, listen, I'm just surviving, trying to pay my bills, things are tough, that whole realm or range of vocabulary? Or is it, hey, listen, I'm working on making my first 7-figure year for my business, or 10-figure year, or whatever the figure is that you want to do. These are the goals I have. This is what I'm moving forward to. And those are the things that are coming out of your mouth, and you're amplifying the very thoughts that you have. So the way I see it, it's it's more of a spiritual metaphor, but the real thinking would be like the prayer. What you think about is the prayer. What you speak about, the speaking is like the worship. It's like multiplying your thoughts and your actual actions with your hands as you're preaching. So like the old saying by St. Francis of Assisi said, preach and if you must use words. That's the whole concept, but be very, very careful about what's in here, what comes out of here, and what you do with these hands. And it's imperative that you surround yourself with like-minded people that are going to support you on that dream. Coming back to that example we talked about a few weeks ago. You talk to someone about getting $1 million house who's barely paying their bills, they're going to laugh at you. Change the subject back to something on a lower vibration. While you talk to someone who has $1 million home about you tell them you want $1 million home, they're going to stop you in your tracks. They're not going to laugh at you, and they're going to say, how are you going to do it? Because they've already done it too. You see, and it's not just in that venue, all materialistic. It's a spiritual level, it's a parenting level. You're hanging out with people that have a successful family. You're hanging out with people that are, that aren't as successful. And I have yet to learn this. I learned a lot from you guys about this, but that's the idea: is whatever the vertical or the venue that you want to be great at, surround yourself with people that are successful in that venue and who talk success, speak success, and breathe success. Rich?
I would echo those sentiments, Thomas. I met these gentlemen a couple of years ago, and I was a virtual Neanderthal. Now I've graduated to a Cro-Magnon, so you can see the development even there. But again, we have a tremendous synergy and energy, and again, we respectfully disagree on many occasions.
It's my black eye.
Correct.
You see that?
But we always do it tactfully, professionally, and again, for the greater good, which includes all team members, because that's what a true team is. So we bounce things off each other all the time with rapidity and repetition, and we, are here today as a result of our many thoughts over the past couple of years. But we have a lot of similar thoughts, and overall we have certainly more similarities than differences, and that's why we are a pretty excellent functioning team, I think, anyway.
Excellent. Yeah,
We are.
I agree.
We are,
Yeah.
guys. One of the things that we need to understand that we have some people right now that may be out of a job, maybe in a dead-end job, may have health issues, but in order to take the next step, you have to take action. Nothing is going to happen with you just sitting there and saying, well, things will get better and I'll just wait around for it. That's not where the positive individual comes in. That's not where the winner comes in. The winner breaks through all these fears and these roadblocks. So whether it's something small or whether it's a big step, you need to do something each and every day. So take a couple of minutes each night, figure out what you want to do the next day. As soon as you get out of bed, step one, and go through the whole day thinking about how the next day is going to be better.
You're right, and love that, Frank, and you're right. And I want to just comment on what Frank and Rich just said too, which is again getting back to the stimuli you take in, the things you're doing with your time, the actions you're taking. You got to ask yourself, if you're in a social group that their main goal is to get out of work on Friday night and to hit happy hour, right? I know a lot of people who do that, and God bless them. And it's a free country, do whatever you want. I know though that if you do, the one saying that I read once, it said, your real business is built before 9 and after 5. And I can attest to that 100% because 9 to 5, all I do is field phone calls for my clients. And I'm proud to do it. I hope that I'm helping making their life better by engaging with me. But before 9 and after 5 is when my goals get done, my personal goals, things like this. We do this, we shoot the show after work. We do this in a way of where we can focus on our clients and give them the best service possible. But before 9 and after 5 is when you're going to make your dreams into reality. And one of the big excuses that you hear is, hey, I don't have time for that. Again, going into it again, like these mental push-ups. Remember, we have to reiterate the topics and concepts that are important, the basics, the fundamentals. That's what makes a champion. But the idea, there's 168 hours a week. You work 40, you sleep maybe 50. That's 168 minus 90, that's 78 hours. You can do whatever you want with, you see? And the idea of your social group, hey man, this weekend there's a conference going on. It specializes in something that you've wanted to do your whole life. Why don't we go together on it as opposed to just going to the beach for the weekend? The one saying that Jim Rohn says, he says, if you work hard now, you go to visit the beach now, or if you work hard on weekends now, you own the beach later. And the concept, I know there's a balance in life. There's the present moment, you appreciate the wind blowing through your hair in a convertible. Again, time and a place for things, you see? But the idea is that most people, they never get out of that. Hey, listen, I work 9 to 5, that's my job, I'm exhausted, And they get out of work, and then most of their social group goes to a bar, does this, does that. You got to take control of that. And you got to be also a leader, which is another topic we'll talk about in another show. But a leader is a person that's out there doing their thing, reaching their goals, and people look at it and they're like, I want to know what you know. And you have to have confidence to do that. Just really believe in yourself, because you can do it too. You could lead people, and they'll look at you and they'll wonder how you're doing what you're doing. Rich?
Be aggressive, be proactive, be positive, take actions, don't sit back. Again, as you've heard many times, life isn't a spectator sport. You have to participate. You'll learn from your mistakes. You'll learn from handling adversity. You actually learn more from adversity than if everything's hunky-dory and you're just sailing on some furry clouds out there. When the rain kicks in, then you see who your true friends are. You see your own intestinal fortitude surface. So adversity does have its place, and it toughens you up, which overall and in the long run is a good thing. So don't stagnate, don't fester, don't just lament and have a lottery ticket kind of whimsical look at the future that everything's going to get better. Oh, I just have to hit the big one. I just have to hit the mega. Okay, maybe you do and you play, but that wouldn't make that your primary intent. You still have to take actions, be aggressive, and make your own destiny instead of sitting back. That's not going to work in most cases.
Mm-hmm.
And
Very good.
for most people, it's the lack of not knowing what direction today to take, not having a plan. Would you get in your car and go somewhere without knowing where you were going? If somebody said, I need you to go here, or you have to go here, and you didn't know how to get there, what would you do? You put it in your GPS, or you MapQuest it. You know exactly where you're going. So each and every day, you have to know where you're going, where you're headed, and what you have to accomplish.
You're right, and this is another thing about the stimuli you're putting into your head. The concept, I read a lot, you guys know that, and then last year I read the Bible, right? I was on a goal I had my whole life. And one of the things it said in the Bible over and over again was fear not. I think it said 365 times, I looked it up, okay? The concept is we shouldn't have any fear in ourselves. And I think, and I read this recently in a book called The Traveler's Gift, it said to have fear of when you have a moment of inspiration, to have fear of not taking that risk or that leap, where we all heard this term, leap and the net will appear, but to have any fear that will not come to fruition is like slapping God in the face. We should not fear. Fear itself is like, the only thing to fear is fear itself, right? That was said by FDR. Yeah, exactly. The idea is, though, is that when those moments of inspiration surface, you have to have the mental state that you can accomplish that goal. And the way to do that, and I say this to absolute certainty, is to put the best in your mind. It's like the concept of gratitude, which we're also going to talk about in another show. The concept of gratitude is when you look at the best, you get more of the best. In each of our lives, and anywhere I travel in the world, all the friends I have in the world, you see these things in the news of people unhappy in various places in the world, and I ask my friends about, if that's really true. And they say to me, Tom, it's like New Year's Eve. Everyone's all excited at one point for 5 minutes, and everyone dies down and goes home. That's what you see in these moments when people are, in these very disparate circumstances, but the majority of the time people are very happy. And the concept is that, and I say that because most of the stuff you see pumped through these major media outlets is just meant to shock and sadden you. And don't kid yourself, really take this in. The whole purpose of you going there is why the commercials are louder than the television program. It's get you to watch those commercials, get you to buy product, and the stuff works, the advertising. And again, nothing against that. It's necessary for the machine of economics, the machine of business, the machines of industry, for these advertising channels to be there. And it's a necessary science. But the concept is for you, the people watching the show, to take control of their life. You understand? And to put into their mind the stimuli that they're going to have the belief structure, the mental state, that they can accomplish those goals. Again, not a question of if, a question of when. To live your life without fear. Do you ever feel fear? Sure. I mean, I guess if you're, driving and something scary happens, you have an emotion. But when these type of things that are outside of the realm of goal setting, when it comes to goal setting, you have to believe it can be done, and you have to listen to the words of people who have done it before you to help coach you through that. You see, and that's the thing about being immortal. When someone writes the words down, a Shakespeare, an Einstein, an Edison, these type of people, when they put things in paper, people interview them, these people become immortal, and they're there to coach you through those times of uncertainty. And I can't explain to you further. And if you want a syllabus on what some of the good books, if you go to Virtue, VIRTUE Academy.com, virtueacademy.com, it's one of our ventures, you go there and you'll see a syllabus of the best books. And all you do, you buy them up from Audible, go to audible.com, you'll see links there, you can just have direct links to the books. You buy them, and the beauty is before, a few years ago, you had to have all these CDs and all these tapes in your car, you'd have a risk of people breaking into your car, you'd have all this stuff, they would get damaged, they would get damaged from the sun. Nowadays it's so easy. You buy it, you download it, it's like $20. Someone spent 5 years to write something, and you get it for $20. It's unbelievable that you can actually get it, right? But the idea is put it on that iPod, get it in there, and the beautiful part of the iPod, it bookmarks it for you, so you want to listen to music for a little while, get a little pump going in the gym, get psyched up on the treadmill. God bless, but when that moment of getting psyched up, kind of your mind's thirsting again for some information, some good stimuli, then you go back to the book and it's bookmarked ready. But it's so easy now to really take control of that aspect of your life. So I encourage you, and I'll tell you, it really works. It really hands down works. Listening to these books gives you strength that you never knew existed. Rich?
I think the fear comes back a lot of times when you have a lack of confidence. Perhaps you didn't do anything, a particular venture, often enough. Maybe you never did it. And so your subconscious is kicking in. Well, I have no memory bank. I have no knowledge of this. So how do you build up confidence then if you never did something? Again, you go work through the fear. You do it in incremental steps. You do it little by little. You do it gradually, but you do it. Bottom line is you do it, and over time, and repetition, you get better and better. So that's where the fear mitigates and lessens over time as you continually do a particular venture. But again, you have to be engaged in that venture, you have to do it, you have to formulate a policy or some kind of strategy to keep you doing it, even if you're initially failing, because I'm sure over time you will be getting better and you'll be even proficient at some point down the road. You just have to have a stick-to-itiveness and a persistence that it's all going to work out, and it will.
Amen. That's great.
As individuals, we're always looking for that edge in life, something that's going to make us or give us a better quality of life. And for most of us, the frustrations and the challenges we face prevent us from achieving that edge, from gaining that edge. And if I could give our viewers another tip, it would be this. When you feel that frustration, when you feel that anger that you're not succeeding, think of those negative frustrations as your friends. They're just your friends coming by and saying, look, you're just not taking the right path. Try something else. And if that doesn't work, you try something else. But you break through those negative feelings, which now become positive, because all they're doing is telling you, try something else, and you'll succeed.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you 100%. That's the truth, and that's a big part of it. But also, things like really watch also in terms of the stimuli. What kind of movies you're watching, what kind of books you're reading, what kind of tabloids. Again, these major media streams. Try to focus again on movies that are going to help you move forward. And again, this is another part of it, and a lot of people don't realize it. Say that most people watch. What was the average for people that watch TV? You guys remember? Like how many hours a day? Yeah.
Easily 5.
Yeah, probably 5 hours a day, right?
5
So people are watching like 35 to 40 hours a week of television, and like, well, I don't watch a lot of television, but
And that was by noon.
that's right, that's right. And the idea is that that also includes movies. It also includes ball games and all that kind of stuff. So really examine what you're putting in and examine the outcome. It's funny. There's this joke I heard the other day. It was about a man and his wife were making their living will. And the husband looks at his wife and goes across the table and goes, listen, honey, if I ever end up in one of those vegetative states where I'm relying on fluids and living like a vegetable, by some machine, please take me off life support. I don't want that in my life. So immediately the woman gets up, unplugs the TV, and throws away his beer, right? So the point is, though, is that literally, if you're in that state where you're watching TV and your best friend's a lazy boy, and you're spending a lot of time with the lazy boy on the television, just examine it, you know what I mean? And again, it's a free country. You can do whatever you want. But the goal of this show is for high-performance people, for peak performance, to really reach your highest self, your best self, and literally look at yourself in the mirror and to do better today than you did yesterday. So if that's your goal to watch TV, maybe this isn't the right place for you, but if your goal is to pour it on and to get more out of life than literally you ever imagined, and through the principles that we're talking about, I have clients, I have people, I have companies that I've worked with that went from, 0 to 6 to 10, $20 million a year in income easily, just like that, in a matter of 3 to 5 years. But it's based on these type of principles. So if you don't think you can, listen to us. You can do it. You can do it. If anyone else has ever done anything in the history of civilization, you can do it, and then some. Rich?
As Frank said, acknowledge, embrace, and then confront your fears, and that will help you along your way. If anybody has any questions for us or anything like that, I would love to hear from you and go over these kind of questions we're posing to you and challenges for you and things of that nature, which Frank will mention later on. But again, if anybody has any inquiries or any puzzling situations, we would love to hear from you, which we may not have mentioned as often as perhaps we should periodically during these episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, we just have a couple of seconds, and you're absolutely right. If you have any questions or any topics you'd like us to discuss, please email us or call us. And also, if you're an entrepreneur and you want to promote your business, give us a call. We'll be happy to have you on the show. And right now, we're reaching about approximately 1,000 viewers. I think it's actually a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
But Tom, if they want to come on, where can they reach us?
Yeah,
How can they reach us?
well, you just simply email info @successtoday.tv. And another thing we're doing is, we're helping entrepreneurs with their, promote their business with ideas. We are asking entrepreneurs, we're getting deeper in that. We're getting deeper than just the surface of what you do. We're saying, how did you do it? What kind of obstacles did you face? What kind of things did you overcome in the creation and execution of that business? And this is, I think, where there's a real lack, is that, in terms of entrepreneurs, we're trained a lot, and I have a great respect for people in the academic community. I think, like Einstein was a theorist, he was there. And it's the reason why we had the E equals MC squared equation and relativity and a variety of other great breakthroughs, and I really respect that. But the idea of being a pragmatist, a pragmatic person who is creating and constantly manifesting and bringing their talents, their inspirations to people through service, that's an entrepreneur. And you know what? We want to hear your story. We want you to come on the show. We want to hear some of the things that you overcame that may help that struggling or striving entrepreneur that tried several things, that had hit an obstacle or hit 2 or hit 5 or hit 15 or 20, that they just keep moving on. And like the alchemist says in the book, there's this guy, he's searching for this big emerald in the book, and literally just gave up, and the next stone he would have kicked would have been that emerald, right? So the idea is that that's the psychology.
Acres of diamonds?
Yeah, I think that would have been it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but that's the idea, is that you're in that state. So if you have a story to tell and you want to get it out there, we'd love to have you on the show. Just email info@successtoday.tv.
Excellent, Tom. Thank you. On behalf of Tom Roman, Rich Goldberg, I'm Frank Williams, and remember, believe. We'll see you next time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.